Hello, beautiful people. It is Friday. A happy Friday to you, and welcome to another One Mind meditation. I hope you've had a great week and you're ready to have a great Friday as well. There we go. Settled down. Hopefully, I'll stop shaking the camera now. While we're waiting for the rest of our beautiful, fearless soul family to join us today, settle yourself down. Find a nice, easy spot to settle down into. Get the sleeping mask closer, switch off the lights, start some nice and slow, deep belly breathing, and prepare yourself for slipping into this beautiful journey with the rest of us. Coffee all done. Today's journey is a little bit about our subconscious mind, just a little bit about how it works, and each of us having a bit of an experience of how our subconscious mind works. Ursula, a very good Friday morning to you. Happy Friday. Your subconscious mind creates patterns from past experience to ensure future survival. Gerda, good morning. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining. Marcella, a very good morning and a happy Friday. Happy Friday, Sean. Good to see all of you. So let me say that again. Your subconscious mind creates patterns from past experience to ensure future survival. And what that means is what you have encountered in the past and how you either had a conscious thought process of surviving that experience, or maybe just a subconscious reaction of surviving that experience. It's something your subconscious packages into a pattern that can be used again and again in order to stay alive in this scary world we live in sometimes. And really coming to an understanding of that helps us have empathy for ourselves and empathy for other human beings as well. Anthony, brother, a great Friday morning to you. Hope you've had a good week, eh? It's good to see you, Anthony. So often we come up against things in ourselves that we want to change, and we think we've worked through these things. We should now have been beyond this point of encountering the same old stuff again, the same old patterns again, the same old bad habits or whatever it might be again, without properly understanding how they came to be there, how those patterns came to be there. And if we can remove ourselves from feeling so personal about the situation, it becomes a little bit easier to see that it's simply how our minds have been constructed. That's the architecture of your mind. It's how it works. What you've encountered in the past, you would either have had a thought process of how to handle the situation, but most likely it wasn't a thought process, it was a survival reaction of how to handle the situation. And your subconscious, the job of your subconscious is to then package that and say, well, now for future reference, for future use, here's the pattern to use when you feel you're under pressure, when you feel something is threatening your survival. And it could be as simple as on your first day of school in grade 1, the whole class laughed at you. And the whole internal process you went through without necessarily even consciously thinking about standing in front of a room full of people laughing at you could form a pattern of reference for the rest of your life that maybe in that instance was useful, but not necessarily useful for the rest of your life. And a simple story I can relate it to is when I was 16 years old, I once had to climb up a thorn tree to stay safe from a herd of hippos. And I always reflect back to this thinking, climbing up into a thorn tree for safety was very valid in that moment. But if I choose to climb up a tree for when I feel under any kind of pressure, or still sit in that tree 20 something years later because it was safe for me to do it once, I know this is a skewed example, but it's not any different than the kind of survival reaction you had in first grade to a class laughing at you still being your go-to defense mode 20, 30 years later. Now, we're not always conscious of these things because it happens all subconsciously, but that is the journey we'll dive into today. It's having a little bit of a look into our subconscious minds. What are patterns that we have created from past experience that we are still triggering today to keep us safe, although maybe it doesn't serve us as much today as it did when we first created those patterns. So if you're all ready, let's slip away into this beautiful space together. Sleeping masks on, lights off. The first few breaths are starting right now. Deep breath in and release. Deep breath in and release. Deep breath in and release. Deep inhale and release. Another deep breath in and release. Keep with the same breathing pattern on your own time. Inhaling deeply in through your nose. And as you fill up that balloon in your belly, stretch your spine out just a little bit higher. And as you exhale, soften your spine, drop your shoulders, drop your head. Make your exhale as long and slow as you can. By very physically putting things down in this first phase of the meditation, your body is learning how to stop, release, let go. By taking control of your breathing, breathing slow, and exhaling very slowly, You're creating relaxation in your body. By putting things down on your exhale and dropping your shoulders and dropping your head. There's a very physical relaxation happening from your head downwards through your body. And all of this lets your subconscious mind know that there's safety. And in the presence of safety, no survival programs need to be running. By bringing yourself into this space again and again and again and again, your subconscious mind becomes less hardwired to run old patterns of survival. Because what you're showing your subconscious again and again is safety. How to find a space that is safe. For another minute or two longer, just focus on your breathing. Focus on how you're inhaling upwards, exhaling downwards. And feel how your exhale, together with a slump of your shoulders, your spine and your head, creates a cascade of relaxation from your head all the way down through your body. And that, together with a slow release of your exhale, helps your subconscious slow down and find that it's in a space of safety. take the last few breaths together of this phase. Help our bodies loosen up and settle down more comfortably. Let's take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, drop your head forward and rotate your neck to the left and to the right in big half circles, finding the edges where there might be some stiffness in your neck muscles, and very gently leaning into them. And you can breathe easily while you do this. Another deep breath in. And as you release, roll your shoulders forward in big circles. Taking some easy breaths in between. Another deep breath in. And as you release, rolling shoulders and circles backwards. Big breath in. And as you exhale, focus on your spine, swaying to the left and to the right. Find the far edges left and the far edges right, where you can lean in to the edges that put up a bit of resistance. Taking one more deep breath in. And release. And take a moment or two to move or stretch whatever needs stretching. For the next phase, we'll hold our breath after every inhale. Just a short breath hold, and then a slow exhale. Let's do the first few breaths together. Deep breath in. And hold. And release. Really long, slow exhale. Deep breath in. And hold. And release. Deep breath in. And hold. One more together breath. Deep breath in. And hold. And release. Breath holds are amazing as a part of meditation. Going inside, holding your breath, almost necessitates a barrier between your inner world and outer world. The breath hold is the ultimate manifestation of being inside, holding you inside. And over time, repetitive breath holding exercises, together with feeling calm, creates a very calm nervous system. With every inhale, imagine you could look down and watch the air flow in through your nose, and then follow the air down your throat, in through your lungs, and almost look down as you find yourself filling up that balloon in your belly and slipping into that space as well. Holding the air inside, but also very viscerally holding yourself inside for a few moments. Hold your breath only for as long as you feel really comfortable in that space, followed by a long, slow exhale. Naturally, as you exhale, your shoulders start sagging, coming down from the breath hold. And really use that downward feeling in your body as you exhale as a means to dissolve, melt, and surrender even more deeply into this space. When you take your next big breath and dive deeply into that space inside, first just explore the sense of fullness that you're diving into, with a belly filled up like a balloon. There's a very real sense of fullness in that space. Settle yourself down into that space of fullness. Feel how much you can surrender to that space. Take your next big breath. The function of your subconscious is to make survival an automatic reaction. To make surviving as easy as possible. To use past experience to help you create shortcuts to staying alive. Staying alive could mean escaping death, but staying alive also just means navigating this world we live in. Steering clear of danger, steering clear of discomfort, your next big breath, your deep dive inside. For a few moments, marvel at how amazing this subconscious is. The fact that you can drive a car without spending too much thought is a testament to how your subconscious creates patterns in order for you to stay alive in this world. On your next big breath, dive deep down. And just for a moment, be in awe at how amazing your mind is. Take your next big breath. Just like being able to drive a car, every pattern created by the subconscious was created in order to survive better. It doesn't necessarily have to make logical sense to us, but in a moment or a series of moments, your subconscious has created shortcuts to survival that you might not have understood. Every old pattern whether you feel good about it or don't feel so good about it, was created in order to keep you alive. Your next few deep breaths, your next few deep dives, simply be open to what some of these patterns are. You don't have to try and find them. Just have an openness to be shown what some of these old survival patterns are that you might know about, might not know about, might not have spent any conscious thinking of. Take your next deep breath. Most of these patterns were created when you were put under pressure as a means to escape the pressure. You have felt like you were put under pressure. Had to find some kind of a solution or resolution to this pressure. You take your next deep breath, diving down inside. Sit in openness to just experience what some of these old patterns might be. Take your next deep breath. take another 2 deep breaths to end this phase together. Take a deep breath in and hold. And release. One more deep breath in and hold. And a very slow release. Feeling how you are relaxing from your head and shoulders all the way down. Just floating with no more attention to your breath. Being in a space of just observing what you might have encountered in the last phase. All of us have some good habits, good patterns that we feel serve us well. And all of us have some bad patterns or bad habits that we'd like to make a change to. Keeping in mind how many of those patterns were created under pressure as a means to escape pressure. I'd love for you to come to a deep understanding how if you're trying to change old patterns, when you put pressure on yourself, when there's self-judgment, when there's criticism, that pressure you put on yourself guarantees that old patterns need to be used again in order to survive. An old pattern that was created under pressure in order to survive will be repeated under pressure in order to survive. In this space, if you can look at old patterns and understand why they are there, why they were created, why at some point they were necessary in order to survive. simply observing and having some love for yourself and your ability to survive. Create a space in which old patterns are not necessary. When you look at yourself with love and kindness, old patterns become unnecessary. Bring yourself into this space as often as you can. Look at all your flaws, all of your failings, with love and kindness for the human that you are. And you will find that over time, the need to repeat old patterns will disappear. Having made our way to the end of today's meditation, it's time to take the last 5 breaths of gratitude. Before we do, take one last look at your amazing ability to survive. Thank every one of those old patterns that have brought you here. With every exhale, I will say my own thank you, and I would love for you to say yours too. Place your attention on your heart and your hand on your heart. And see if you can feel anything move, anything shift around that heart space as you say your thank yous. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for this beautiful, divine architecture of this mind that is incredibly designed as a survival machine. Breath in. Thank you for every one of the patterns created that has clearly resulted in me actually surviving and being here. Deep breath in. Thank you for seeing that even my worst habits, my worst patterns, on some level served a purpose of survival. Deep breath in. Thank you for deeply understanding that the only way to soften old hardwired patterns is by removing the pressure. When I judge myself, when I criticize myself, I am just applying more pressure that necessitates an old pattern to continue. Thank you for learning this lesson. One last deep breath in. Thank you to everybody on this morning's journey. Thank you for joining. It's Friday. I hope your week's been really good, and I hope your Friday is even better. It really is a beautifully bright day out there today. I hope yours is as well. I have not said hello to Philip yet. A very good morning to you, Philip. I have not said hello to Anne-Marie yet. Good morning, Anne-Marie. And Charlene, a very good morning to you too. If you're having a weekend coming up, have a good weekend. I'll be back here tomorrow, sitting down with you at the same time. Thank you for starting your day with me. Lots of love to you guys. Remember, kindness towards yourself, love towards yourself. It sounds counterintuitive because we were taught to criticize ourselves into reaching results, reaching goals. But there's a counterintuitive opposite to that. Being kind to yourself gives you the space in which to change old habits. Beautiful day to you all. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.